Day 3 solo traveling Guatemala, and this morning I had a 4 a.m. wake up call to finish the hike up to the summit of Acatenango. Yesterday we spent 5 hours climbing the volcano in the middle of the clouds. We made it to base camp, waited for it to get dark, and watched as Fuego volcano erupted in the distance all night long. So after sleeping in our little cabins last night, we're off on the hour hike up to the summit of Acatenango, and let me tell you, these conditions were not ideal. It was insanely windy and basically raining sideways, but we were all out there finishing the hike and hoping for the best because we made it all the way to this point, so we might as well finish it out. But then just as we made it near the summit, our guides basically tell us that the weather is too bad and that we're gonna have to turn around and go back to base camp. And what did we say? No way. But eventually our guides decided it was okay for us to finally go up to the summit, and even though it was still insanely cloudy, we could see the sunrise starting to peek out behind the volcano in the distance, and a few minutes later the weather started to clear up and we had the most spectacular views. We stayed up there and watched the sunrise and the volcano erupt for 30 minutes or so before it was time to start the trek back down to base camp for breakfast, and this had to be one of the best parts of the hike. It was like all this time in the clouds we had no idea what we could have been seeing, and it was absolutely stunning. These views were insane. But what was even crazier was the view of Fuego from base camp where we sat and ate breakfast. Like, we had no idea that was back there this whole time in the clouds. And then after breakfast we packed up our bags again and started the trek down the volcano. And I'm not gonna lie, going down the volcano was much harder than I expected because of how steep it is, but it's definitely much quicker to get down than it is to get up. We of course made some stops on the way down, and the hike down took us around 2.5 to 3 hours. And not to be dramatic, but when we saw that paved road at the end of the hike, I was so excited and so dang proud that I made it through that hike. And what do we get as a reward? A Corona, some Guatemalan chips, and some birthday cake. What else could you ask for? Then we headed back to Antigua, got dropped off at the hostel, and I took what felt like the best shower of my entire life before going to get my daily Diet Coke and water from the little store down the street. I was absolutely exhausted at this point of the day, but I decided to meet up with some people from my hiking group for drinks at this little cocktail bar in town called Ulu, and it was so much fun. Okay, that's all for day 3, but I have to say, what an incredible day.